Designing billboards? Well, that's SVG. Designing coffee cups? Better with SVG. Designing t-shirts? You can't do it without SVG. And SVG does trinkets amazingly well. Let's get to it. Hi guys. Well, let's suppose you're doing t-shirts or stickers or some sort of craft work, and what you've got is a huge list of images that you've downloaded from somewhere like Midjourney or somewhere like that, some place that creates lots and lots of images. Now, I've got some done already, but it's really easy to do them. Now, let's look at what we've got here. There's a nice little cartoon character, and there's the results we're looking at there. Some of those and some of those. These are loaded into Affinity Designer. Too nice. And because they are all SVG files, you can see the list of curves there. Now, we're not worried about that at the moment because this is not showing you how to manipulate SVG files, just how to do them. Now, what we've got here is an SVG file that's come from Midjourney. That's one of the artificial intelligence generated images, and I've showed you that in a previous video. Now let's have a look at that. You can see the transform. That's 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. Now the document setup is telling me that it's pixels and that it's 72 dpi. Now let's have a look if we change that to inches. That's 14 inches by 14 inches, that image, which is really quite large. Now, we don't need to leave that on there, of course, but if you think that that's 14 inches and that's an SVG file, you can make that as big as you like. You could cover the side of a building with that, and it's not going to lose any of the curves or definitions. Same with that one, and the same with that one. A much more complex image, but it's still an SVG file, which is very nice. Now, how do we do this? And we do it for free. It's really easy with 2 online tools. You don't even need to download them to your computer or anything like that. So let's bring them up. I've got them in Safari at the moment, and the first one is Adobe Express. Oh no, I see you falling out of your chair. Let's not deal with Adobe. But what we're going to do here is create an SVG file. Now, search everything. SVG. Convert to SVG. See, all I did was type in the search bar, convert to SVG. And there we go. Drag and drop your image. Now, I've got some images behind here, haven't I? This little fellow will do. Just drag the image in there. This is how really easy this is. This is Adobe Express. There's no subscription to this. You can try the premium one. Of course, that's a subscription. But if you just want the SVG, and I'm not going to put that in OBS backgrounds, I'm going to put that in pictures. Let's just put it in pictures. And it's called some strange name. So I'll put Cartoon Boy in there so it's easy to find. And there it goes. That's all there is to it. You can see up there, there's Cartoon Boy. Okay, let's close that. We'll go down to Finder. We'll go to Pictures. And there's Cartoon Boy there. Let's have a look at Cartoon Boy. Oh, of course, I double-clicked on that. What's that going to open up? No, we don't want that. That's set to some sort of crazy default. So let's go to what I've already got opened, which is Affinity Designer. Affinity Designer Beta 2.3 actually, but it's exactly the same in the latest one. There's Cartoon Boy, open, and there he is. Now, how do I know that he's all curves? Because it tells you there, curves. There's the layers. Now the navigator, just so that we've got him front and center. transform 1023.9. So you can say 1024 pixels. That's the same document. Document setup. And you can see that it's 72 dpi, which means that it's in inches. 14 inches, 14.22 inches. Marvelous. Now, no longer do you have to put up with images, even if you've got some small image that it's very pixelated and you'd love to put it on the t-shirt, but you can't because it's too pixelated. Now the other one, that's Adobe Express. It's an online thing on the internet, newexpressadobe.com. Now the other one is Vectorizer. Trace pixels to vectors in full color. Vectorizer AI. Now let's see what happens when we try this one. What did I do with my photos? There we go. Oh, photos. Too many things down the bottom there. Well, let's try a different one this time. Let's try something a little more complex. Let's see what happens with that girl there. Now that's a fairly complex image, and you can see straight away it starts to process it. Processing is starting. Again, this is free. Vectorizer. It's either this one or Adobe that says use free while in beta. And I think it's this one, but that's all right. Vectorizer AI result. And you can see that's very nice. Download. And you can see it tells you what it is, but the file format to download is SVG. You don't really need to change any of that. If you want to get terribly complex and discover what they all do, then go ahead and experiment. That's what it's all about. Now, where am I going to put this? Pictures again. Affinity Inspiration Cartoon Girl. That'll make it easy to find. And there it goes. Now, let's look at Finder again. No, let's not look at Finder. I won't open it in Finder. It'll try and open it in that other program. What I want to do is open it in Affinity Designer Beta. Now that's over on the side there and difficult to find because I don't default to beta. So open. There it is, Affinity Inspiration Cartoon Girl, SVG. And there she is. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely marvelous? Now I've got all those layers and there's millions of them. So what I want to do is select all, and you can see over there it's selected everything in there. Now I want to right click on it and create a group. Now there's a lot of them, so it just takes a moment to group them all. And you can see they're all in a nice little group there. There's that layer and it's a group. Let's call that layer Cartoon Girl. And that layer has the group of curves in it. And you can see that there. There they are. Okay, now, how nice is that when you can go in and use an online thing like this to create your files. Let's just skip right back. See, there's a pricing, Vectorizer, AI offers a web and an API. While the web is free to use, the API requires a subscription. There you go, so just use free while in beta. We intend to eventually offer subscription plans for interactive human use of the web app. However, for the time being, usage of the web app remains free. Now, that's been free for a long time, and I suspect if it does, looks like I don't know what you'd do with the API when you're just creating these things, but we don't need to worry about that. what is going back. Now there's the ones I've done most recently. Oh, and it's doing that one again. There we go, because I went back. Let's just close that. And we're back to drag and drop. That's all there is to it. Now there is another option, Adobe Capture, which is available on certainly on the iPad. These two don't work so well on the iPad because they're web-based. So you'll need a proper full-size web browser on either Windows or Mac. They work equally well on both. So that's very useful to know. Now when we're looking for images for our craft work, you can't go past Midjourney. Now Midjourney works, as we now know, best by working through Discord. Now I have my own server here in Discord, Affinity Inspiration, and you can see it's working here. Now I've created 4 images, if you like. Cute bunny, long ears, multiple poses. That's the prompt that you put in here. Now to have a look at those or to enlarge them, we simply click on the area underneath there. If I can get back to them. U3 and U4. Now that creates the individual squares, and you can look at them that way and download them from there, and I'll show you that in a minute. Or you can go to Midjourney. Now let me show you that in a moment. There's Midjourney and my images. Let's see if my images are showing up there yet. Now there's all the rabbits, and they're all separated into their individual blocks, so you don't have to worry about downloading them. Now that's my images in midjourney.com. So I've already got a login and I can download all. So there's 8 images altogether, which is very nice. Download them and I'll put them there in pictures, and it's got the Midjourney session and the date. So they're easily found. Now I can go down there and look at those. Now I'll just hide that again for the moment and we'll go and have a look in pictures. There we are in pictures. Now there's the one I just downloaded. Pretty sure. Today at 12:02. That's the right one. So let's unzip that and we'll see what's in it. There's the images there. They're all PNG images. There we go. And you can see they're there like that. Now the good thing about these, we're getting a bit cluttered on the screen here, so just bear with me. Now I'll reduce the size of that. I'll reduce the size of that. Now this is photos. I can put all these into photos quite easily, and that's where I will put them, by simply sharing them into photos, Apple Photos. But I don't want them in there at the moment. There's a calculator I've got running in the background. I'll just move that right out of the way at the moment, because what I want is that there, and I want to bring up. Now there we go, traces pixels to vectors in full color. Now let's see if we can get our nice little vectors. Where did we put them? I need to get that out there so I can see where it is. Now I'll pick one of the first one's fine. That's that bunny rabbit one there. Let's drag that in and see how good it does that. There we go, upload. Now it's processing all those little bunnies. So instead of trying to separate them out as individual PNG files, which will be a bit difficult, but I'll show you that in a moment, what I'm going to do is initially download those, because they're now all vectors and they're still quite clean and sharp. Let's download those. There's SVG files, which is what we want. You could do EPS and put them all in one, but let's do the SVG. Let's just download that. There we go. That's in pictures again. Now this is the vector and it's putting it on top of that session file. Now we'll go back to Affinity Designer. Yes, Affinity Designer version 2 beta. Let's stick with the same one. We can do this in Affinity Designer version 2 if you like, but I'm using the beta today to see how it works. So File, Open, it's in Pictures. Now, you can't believe this, I've forgotten what it was called. Cute Bunny 1205, that's the one. I probably could put that in icon mode and then we know for sure. There it is, Cute Bunny. Well, we had that one right, didn't we? There we go. Let's open that one. And there they all are. Now you can see easily there that they're all vectors, which makes it very easy. If you just want one of those, oops, Control Z, select, deselect all, because we only want to copy one of those. There it is. There we go, nicely copied. Edit, copy. We should have all of that. Have we got all of that? File, New from Clipboard, and there he is. Look at that. Clean background, SVG all the way, so you can make that any size you want. Transform. Isn't that lovely? That's just what we want. File, document setup, 207 pixels by 207. Now let's see what that is in inches. 2 inches by 3 inches. Now if that was just a PNG file, that would be pretty useless. But that is in effect, it's an SVG file. So you can make that any size you like. That'll fit on a cup, a t-shirt, a whiteboard, the side of a building if you want to make it that large. And that's all taken from there. Isn't that nice? Now, that image was vectorized in Vectorizer AI. I could have done it just as easily in that one, Adobe Express, both free. My images, they're all the images I just did in Mid-Journey, which is there. See, the other way of doing those, if you don't want them all downloaded, is you click on that, it brings it up, open in browser, and there's your PNG file there. You just right click on it, save image to photos. I'll save that image to photos, that puts it in photos. I'll just close that image, we're back to there. Now I'll reduce that in size, we're getting very cluttered here, aren't we? We'll reduce that in size, and back to Affinity Designer. And of course you can get rid of all those white backgrounds. I showed you how to do that in a previous video. I won't go into that now. You can look that up easily enough. And there they all are, sitting in Finder. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for my photos, which are along the bottom there somewhere. There we go, photos. Let's have a look at the last one we just put in, which should be that one there. And there it is. That's a PNG file. Now, information about the PNG file, it's 1024 by 1024. So that whole image in pixels, because it will be 72 DPI, which means it's about 14 inches. Okay, let's pull up Affinity Designer. Lost it again. Affinity Designer, there we go. Now that's the one we've got. Let's open Photos. There's the one in Photos, so I know that's a PNG file, and there it is there. (1024 pixels). Let's see what it is in the document setup. 1024 pixels, inches. There's 14 inches by 14 inches. Isn't that lovely? Now, that's where you can collect your images, and you can collect all sorts of images because that's what I was doing originally. Let's see if we can find that there. Now, my images, these are all the images I've generated over a period of time. And you can see they're all in there. And they all easily transfer to SVG files, which means that they can be in nearly any size you like, including those ones. Will they transfer to SVG? Well, I don't know. But I've got them in the photo. Let's see if I can copy image. No, I can't paste that image. So because it's, I know what I can do. My images. I'm trying to get back to that one there will do. There we go. Drop the image there. Upload failed. Please try again. Okay. So it doesn't want to move it from one web page to another. That's okay. We're not worried about that. Let's bring that back into there. As I was saying, if I had to save that, there's another one there. You see, if I save that as individually. Okay. Let's go back. I've just discovered how to save a file individually. Let's see if one of these, there it is there. Interstellar scene, that's the one we want. That'll put it in pictures. Let's save it there. Now I know that's a PNG, and we're in Adobe Express. Just cancel that for a moment. Finder, pictures, interstellar scene. Let's drag that into interstellar scene. Get that out the way for the moment. Now this is going to have some trouble converting this one to SVG, but let's see if it does it. You can see that's a very complex image I've got there. And there it is, convert to SVG. Affinity Inspiration, Interstellar Scene. Let's save that. This should be an SVG now. So if I go back to Affinity Designer version 2 beta, let's open that file. Where is it? Open. Pictures. There's the interstellar scene. Interstellar SVG. You can see it's got the original there. Now it's got the SVG version. Let's see how it dealt with that. There we go. Look at that. Now that's an SVG file. You can make that any size you like, and you know it's SVG because you've got the curves in it. It's all curves, and there are a lot of them. Isn't that wonderful? All the curves in it. Let's go to navigate and we'll put it dead center. There we go. Look at that. Now that is some kind of SVG. That's all there is to it. He says confidently. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's continue on. Well, we won't continue much further with this. Just to recap what we've been through. So, to create your SVG files that you can use for nearly any type of design work or crafting or anything like that, you can use Adobe Express. Drop your image in there, it's quite free. You can use Vectorizer AI, drop your image in there, it's quite free. Download the converted SVG. Now, Midjourney is great for creating images in the first place, and there's a list of my images. Well, that's some of them. They go back quite a way. But what have we been working on recently? There we go, that'll do. And there's some up there. There's little bunny rabbits we created the other day. And what can you do with them? Of course, if you're a crafter, you know all about Cricut. Now, I'm not promoting Cricut by any means. That's just one of the crafting tools. There are lots of other ones around by different manufacturers, but that one's very easy. Although it does have a subscription to their service, etc., etc. I'm not too sure. But there we go. There's the images, and you can use any of those. They're not SVG in Midjourney. You then create them, transfer them to SVGs with that. So let's just drop that out of the way, because once you've got your SVG file, you can load it into Affinity Designer, add to it, put text over it, change it, do whatever you like with it. There's the Cricut canvas. Now I've loaded the same image into canvas, into the Cricut, ready to add to the canvas, which I won't go through now because I'll probably mess it up. But you can see how easy it is. And because it's SVG and it's 72 dpi and 14 inches by 14 inches, that's an admirable size. You won't have any problems with Cricut with that, or any of the others for that matter. This, of course, is Design Space, Cricut Design Space. You can see top left-hand corner, which everybody's familiar with, I'm sure. So let's reduce that. Now, there's Midjourney. That's the... Well, actually, that's not Midjourney. That's Discord, which is connected to Midjourney. If you start using Midjourney and you learn how to use it, it's free, by the way, you will find that you really need to connect to Discord, which is kind of like a text, a bit like a very fancy Twitter or something like that. But it's not difficult. Once you find out what you're doing, there's lots of tutorials out there, and you can create your own images, and you can download them from Midjourney. Did I have Midjourney there? Let's see. My images in Midjourney, and you can download the entire collection there for any day that you've created them. You don't get the thousands of them downloaded, but by day and date, I guess is what you'd say. So all those ones there can be downloaded. Right, well, I think that's about it for the time being. I can't think of any more to tell you at the moment about this. The big chance here is, what do I say? Go and explore. Because once you get those images going and you create your SVGs with them and pull them into, where's a blank space, I can grab hold of that and move it. You can drag them into Affinity Designer. Well, you could probably put them in Photo too, but they're a bit more difficult to modify in Photo because they're SVGs. Now there's our little bunny rabbits all on his own. We could load that into Cricut and put that on a mug. Child's mugs, separate them out, put them on mugs, and something even as complex as that. That is, as I said before, an SVG, and you could put that on anything. Very nice. Okay folks, that's about it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you've managed to get this far, well done. Don't forget to subscribe because your subscription really helps me to keep focused and keep enthusiastic about doing these wonderful videos. Okay, I'll see you in the next video, hopefully.
Go ahead. Make my day. Subscribe.